kind of tease to say he's coming, he's not, he's coming, he's not, and we understand, you know, family commitments this time of the year.
Yes.
You've just played the 18 holes. Is it for the first time that you've played them since you've been back, that whole 18?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so I the last time I was here, I think I was 16 years old playing the Australian Open. I remember doing the presentations on the final green there, and I think Stephen Bowditch and Stuart Appleby was up there. I can't remember who actually won, but a little bit has changed since then. And it's amazing. I mean, I had a great time out there. The weather is a little crazy. I looked at the weather this morning. It's only supposed to be about 20%. It felt like it rained on and off for the good part of the day, and the sun's shining now, which is great. And I think if we can get this sun shining a little bit, start to bake out the course a little bit, I think over the next 2 days it'll be a little bit softer, but it won't be crazy soft. But I think, you know, with how the course is and with the weather that we're supposed to get, I think there's going to be a lot of low scores, and I'm actually looking forward to playing. It's been a while since I've been back in Oz, and I'm really looking forward to playing.
They say that the course very much depends on the wind and the wind direction,
Yes.
and of course the time that you play and the draw and everything, that has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, so I played 9 holes Monday, and then I played 9 holes Tuesday. Monday had a northerly wind, and I think yesterday I had a southerly wind. So I played the both nines, two different winds, and I'm not too sure what we're going to get over the next 4 days, but you know, I feel like we've made a good plan. Me and Luke have come up with a good plan with regards to what we try and hit off every tee. So, sorry, I just had a solo and I need a burp. I feel like there's a lot of drivers out here. I think if I can drive it well, get myself in positions, you can take it very deep around here. And you know, Pam's, you know, shot a deep one in the final round, I think, you know, only a few years ago, whatever it was, and obviously Jordan has done an amazing job playing well here as well. So there's definitely a lot of birdies and you know, a lot of low scores to be had out here.
Terrific. Questions from the floor, please. Thank you.
What did you shoot today?
I shot 69. I had a couple bogeys and 5 birdies. I was a little quiet on the backside, but we ended up winning the Pro-Am. So Andy was tremendous to play with. He was hilarious. Eddie was great. I've never seen someone with that much muscle. I mean, it was muscle in places I've never seen muscle before. And then Leighton had an amazing bunker shot on the last hole. He ended up holding it for birdie out of the bunker on the last hole, and it was kind of crazy to see the old come on one of these ones. So it was. I remember, you know, watching him as a kid dominate the circuit for a long time, and it was really neat to see that too. So we had a good time out there today. It was like I said, the course is in great shape. The superintendent's done a phenomenal job, and his staff's done a phenomenal job getting the course ready for this event. The Australian Golf Club, the staff itself have been getting ready for a while now, so I'm looking forward to starting tomorrow. It should be an exciting 4 days.
Just you know, obviously Spieth is the main contender.
Yes.
Apart from yourself, had some good battles over the years, and you know, nice to see you both.
I would love to play with Spieth on Sunday in the last group. That would be the greatest thing, because, like I said, he's had some tremendous finishes here in the Australian Open. I think he's won it twice, and at the Australian Golf Club has kind of suited his eye. He hits it very straight, which is what you need around here, because when you hit driver around here, there are some kind of pinches off. There's some necks that you have to hit into, because there are some bunkers well placed, and he hits the ball very straight, and he hits it, you know, above average too, which is what you need around here. And that if you do that, you've got a lot of shorter clubs in your hands, and everyone knows how good of a putter he is. So this course does suit up well for him, and I think it does for me as well. As long as I'm driving it straight, then I get the same opportunities as he does.
Yeah.
I was actually going to ask a similar question, but 2015 PGA, you're one of the few players that sort of stared down Jordan on the back night. What are your recollections of that day, and what makes it so difficult to be in that situation?
Yeah, so Jordan, that year he won the Masters, he won the US Open. Me and him finished tied 4th. We were actually talking about this last night at the cocktail party. Me and him finished 4th. We both had an opportunity to get in the playoff at the British Open at St Andrews, we fell short by 1 stroke, and then we were in the final group again Sunday at the PGA. And at the time, you know, kind of he kicked it on very early and was playing great golf, but he was very consistent throughout the whole year. He played some really good golf the whole year, and that's why he won Player of the Year. But you know, that final round, I don't know, I was just driving it really straight, really long, and it's not that I overwhelmed him or anything. I just didn't make a mistake. He would he'd push and make a good par putt or make a good birdie, and I'd birdie the same hole or make a par putt on him as well. So it was just, I just never let him. I knew that if I let the door open a little bit, he would close it pretty quick, and my lead would be down to pretty much nothing, and then it'd be a match play kind of format from there. So my goal was to keep pushing and not try and let him in. And the biggest thing with Jordan is that he's a competitor. I mean, everyone's probably noticed the way he talks out there with his caddy, Mike. They go over every shot, making sure that every shot is 100% the correct shot they need to hit. And his mental game is just off the charts. I've said over the last 5 years, he's probably the most dominant player outside of Dustin Johnson. And you know, he doesn't have the natural abilities such as DJ's length, but he has the mental toughness, probably the best mental toughness out of everyone on the tour, and that's what gets him going. And that he's just such a grind. I told a story about Jordan at the President's Cup. I was playing with Louis Oosthuizen, where Louis hit the putt for eagle, and Jordan picked it up and lost the hole. We wanted to give him the next hole, and walk to the next tee. And Jordan didn't want to do that. He goes, let's play. He goes, and I think at that time we were either 1 up or even or something like that, and they ended up winning the match. And that just goes to show how much of a competitor and the nature that he has with regards to competing out there.
A little bit about that experience and talking with the young kids there.
Yeah.
But also when you look back now, all these years on, to the journey you've had since you were at Hills. Can you just give us some of your thoughts on that?
Yeah, the name Stuart Bramston didn't work because I was trying to slide in there under the radar and it didn't work. So we put a fake name under there, and that didn't quite work because everyone found out pretty quickly. But it was good. I think it was more so just the nostalgia of the memories that I had at Hills. And granted, if I ever, like, the kids were actually graduated, the year 12s were graduating that day, and I didn't want to be like one of those creeps that walk off the street and start walking through a school, so I'd stayed away from the school and went to the golf course. But the actual golf course itself, I mean, just going around it, and that's where I built the foundation of my game. You know, I remember I actually showed my buddy David Luderis, who's here. He's from South Australia. We grew up playing amateur golf against each other. I actually we went back and kind of showed him on the way through the course, because you can see the dormitories. You know, that's where we stayed. I remember waking up at 4:30, 4 o'clock, you know, getting ready and going to practice every morning. And like I said, that place was a foundation for my game to build upon, and is a reason why that I'm here today speaking in front of you guys. And a lot of memories. I miss those days. I really do, because those are the days that were fun to me. Waking up early, being the only person out there and practicing, and knowing that I'm working harder than everyone at the school, and that gave me confidence moving forward that I was doing the right things, and then the results started to happen. So I think I shot 2 under off the blues, which is really tough. I thought that was actually quite good, so I knew that I had some good form coming into this week for that. So, but it's no Australian Golf Club, which is nice.
Nicole.
Jason, while we're reminiscing,
Yes.
that you wanted to be world number 1
Yes.
as a kid.
Yes.
An hour or so ago, Minwoo came in here and said to us that he thinks you're scared of him after the long drive.
I am a little bit scared of Minwoo. He hits it too far.
And so it's kind of nice to see the next generation.
Yes.
Do you find that?
I mean, my biggest thing, my biggest thing is, like, if you have dreams and aspirations to do big things and do great things, like, and you want to voice them, then go ahead and voice them. You need to, for me personally, I've always been pretty honest with media and how I've been feeling, what I've wanted to achieve in my life, because to a certain degree, if I speak to you guys and say it, then it kind of puts me accountable. So I need to work harder to try and achieve those goals. And I'm happy for people to come out and aspire to be better. And if they want to be the best in the world, then that's great, because they're trying to better themselves and get to a position that they hopefully one day can be in the position that I'm in and be able to talk to you about this as well. So, but yes, Minwoo did beat me in a long drive. I was hitting it terrible that day, and I was in a bunch. I was in front of a bunch of the best amateurs in the US and around the world, and I was just hitting it everywhere. And then Minwoo came in, and it was the first swing of the day, because I said, let's go have a long drive contest against 3 other juniors, and I think I lost against all of them, to be honest. So that was no good. So, but once again, that's seeing that the young kids, and I noticed on the range early after my practice round yesterday, there was a kid behind me. I didn't know his name, but he hit a drive, and I didn't know he was hitting drivers because he hit his first one. And I turned around and I looked up, and it's quite a big fella, but just the sound of the ball coming off, it's just like when I was a kid, you'd never really hear that too often, and now you hear it. You go down the range and you just hear it. Every kid, pretty much, the sound of that, and it sounds like it's going a very long way. When I hear that and look at that, I know that I've got to do a lot more to try and keep up or stay in front of them. So that gives me extra motivation seeing that as well. And we do have a lot of young, talented players here that just haven't blossomed yet. And I think once they do, we will have a good stable of players, not only on the PGA Tour, but in Europe and around the world as well. So I'm excited about that.
Brent?
Hey Jason, I've got to ask some Tiger Woods questions, obviously coming back next week.
Yes.
I know you guys have been able to text each other.
Yeah.
Have you spoken to him, and what are your expectations for next week?
I did talk to him, and he did say it's the best he's ever felt in 3 years. He doesn't wake up with pain anymore, which is great. And I said to him, I said, look, I mean, it's great to be one of the best players ever to live, but health is one thing that we all take for granted, and if you can't live a happy, healthy life, then that's difficult. I mean, I totally understand where he's coming from, because sometimes I wake up in the morning and it takes me 10 minutes to get out of bed, and for him to be in pain for 3 years is very frustrating. And to even just be able to walk around like a normal person, enjoy your kids, enjoy just normal life, that's one thing that you want to actually do, let alone go out and play competitive golf. I mean, he's done what he needs to do in golf, I think. And with regards to him playing this week, or next week, there's no pressure. I mean, it's I think 17 or 18 man field. There's no cut. He's playing at a tournament where last year I think he had the most birdies at. So he obviously likes and suits that. I mean, I talked to Leighton about it. He said Leighton Hewitt knows him well, and he ran into him there, and he said that he's been putting well, and he just obviously the swing is up in the air depending on how he's going to play because of his back. But from what I see on Instagram and what he's been telling me, he says he's ready, and I'm hoping that he is, because from what I hear, he's hitting it very long, and if he's hitting it long and straight, then that's going to be tough for us, because I mean, it is Tiger Woods. He's always been a very clutch putter, in amongst the best, and it'd be interesting to see.
Jason, slightly left field. Last year you were one of a bunch of guys who withdrew from the Olympic selection.
Yeah.
Put some thought into maybe the next one. Would you like to represent Australia at the Olympics?
Yeah, no, I definitely want to. And then the biggest thing, it's really unfortunate, because I didn't want it to come off the way it did. I mean, it was just difficult, because I know that if you're in a certain sport, sometimes you only get these opportunities once. And I'm in a sport where I can stick around for a very long time, and if I'm good enough, I can be in you know, multiple Olympic teams. But unfortunately, I just didn't want to. I didn't want to have the chance of, you know, maybe bringing back a Zika virus or something like that, and that's the main reason why I did. But I want to represent Australia very much so. Me and Scotty represented Australia in the World Cup here and at Royal Melbourne, down in Melbourne, and I had a blast representing Australia against all the countries. It's going to be in Tokyo, I think, in 2020, and Japan's one of my favourite countries to ever visit. So if I have the opportunity to get on the team, I'm getting my plane ticket straight away. I'm looking forward to playing.
Next question. Who's got the microphone?
Yeah.
I'll just go because I've got the mic.
Yeah.
You spoke about the ambition earlier in the week about getting back to world number one and staying there.
Yeah.
What do you need to do differently? And what did you recognise last time to, you know,
Stay there?
Yeah.
Well, the biggest thing for me, why I struggled, I think I didn't struggle to stay there. I was there for 51 weeks. I mean, that was pretty. It's in the long run, it's not crazy long, but it's nearly a year. It's just shy of 1 week of a year. So I got burnt out, severely burnt out. You know, I think I kind of exhausted myself to everyone, and to the point where I just never could kind of do what I needed to do to mentally and physically prepare for a tournament. And I explained the analogy of, you know, I'm standing in the middle and I've got, you know, people pulling me in each different direction. You know, I got the media, I got the fans, got my family, got my agent, got my coach. You know, I've got a bunch of people trying to give them time, and one person pulls me this way and I give them more time, but then someone over here sacrifices, and you know, so there's a big balancing act that you have to do to not only try and stay balanced within yourself so you can play and compete, but also balance yourself as a person and make sure that you have enough time for yourself, where you can decompress and relax and stay energized to keep pushing forward and keep playing and trying to win. And that's the biggest thing for me, is to learn to take a step back and learn to say no a lot more. And I feel like I've gotten a lot better at it, but it's always something that you have to work towards. I know that the work ethic will always be there for me, and the desire will always be there to try and get back to number one. I just got to make sure that I have the balance in my life, not only in my golf life, but in my personal life too, to be able to you know, stay mentally and physically focused on that goal.
Justin, please.
How's it going with that call on the day, Jason?
It's been going good. Obviously, Luke has done a phenomenal job with regards to walking the course and making sure that, you know, the numbers are correct in the book. It's been nice to be able to. Now, Luke was, you know, Bruce had a question earlier about going back to Hills. He was my roommate. He's the guy that gave me the book about Tiger Woods. So he knows my game more than anyone, you know, that I know. We played junior golf together. We played on some of the, you know, teams together. We played on Trans-Tasman team together. So we played Wednesdays and Saturday comps. I mean, we did everything together. We ate together. I mean, it was practically, we did everything together when we were juniors. So for him to come on the bag, he knows exactly what kind of shots I like to hit, what a flighted shot means, an off-speed shot with a wedge means. I mean, just, it's hard to explain these certain things, these little intricate parts of my game to someone that has never kind of seen my game before, but it's easy for him to come on the bag and realize what I'm talking about when I'm talking to him about this is what kind of shot I'm going to hit. And he'll go, yeah, you need to either just take a little bit more off or hit a little bit more on. So it's been working out great. I think we're going to win, and hopefully we'll win a lot, but we just got to make sure that the communication is there and be patient with ourselves.
Just one more, looking at what Justin Thomas has done, does that sort of, you sound like you're pretty motivated already going into the new season?
Yeah.
He sort of did what you did maybe 2 years ago. Does that sort of fire you up?
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's just another thing to add to, because I know the feeling of what he's going through with winning and being that confident, knowing that you can go on any course regardless of where you're at, hit it terrible and still win a tournament. Because I've done it before, and he's not hitting it terrible. He's like firing all cylinders, hitting it great, putting well, chipping well, and doing the things that he needs to do. So I've got to stay on top of my game to try and beat him because I know how well he's playing, and that's just one guy. You know, we got Dustin Johnson, we got Jordan Spieth, we got Hideki Matsuyama, we got numerous guys that are not only playing well, and then you look at the whole PGA Tour field that can win any tournament on any given week. So it's very kind of cutthroat up the top, and you just got to keep pushing along. It can be tough at times to try and stay motivated and really go, oh man, this is really hard to climb a mountain, but there's nothing better than being at the top and looking down.
Just a quick one, Jason. You spoke earlier about players going low this weekend.
There we are.
Players going low this weekend. What sort of score did you predict for win?
Well, yeah, it's hard. I think what did 18 under won it 1 year. If the weather stays the way it is, I can see high teens winning it again. Now, granted, it all depends on how the course is, the pin locations and the course setup. But if we have sunny weather like this with just like kind of 5 to 10 mile an hour breezes, it'll slowly harden out over the weekend. Yeah, I can see the high teens winning this.
Back.
Hey James, just a quick prediction on the Ashes kicking off tomorrow. Who do you think starts that series?
Oh man, I'm terrible at this. I watched it since I was 15. So yeah, I mean you got to go Australia all day, but it's at the Gabba, so I'm predicting something huge. My buddy's going to go down there and watch it, so fingers crossed we get it done. That'd be nice. Sorry about that. I'm terrible. You can practically call me American now.
Jason, yesterday you hosted a My Golf clinic.
Yes.
Can you talk to us about that experience and also what it means to you to be the ambassador of the program?
Yeah, so funny about that, I was talking to Leighton Hewitt about how the junior tennis is over here, and he wasn't concerned. He'd like to change a few things in club tennis that would obviously help junior tennis over here, and then I was talking to him about the My Golf stuff, and I think Golf Australia's done a fantastic job with trying to build it again, because obviously when I was growing up, I remember going to different clubs and there was a bunch of junior players that were playing, and I'm not too sure how it is here now, if the juniors at every club, there's a good amount of them, but I think video games and staying indoors has hurt all sports across the board, not only here in Australia but also in the States and around the world. But no, programs like My Golf has definitely helped trying to bring new kids that probably never had even thought about playing golf to start even just to pick up a golf club and see how it goes. And doing the clinic yesterday was great. They were asking all sorts of questions. One kid asked me if my ball ever landed in duck poo, and I said yes, most likely. Yeah, so it's just great to see the kids so enthusiastic about being out there on the golf course, being outside and playing, because we need a lot of junior golfers. We need that next generation, not way before me, but we need it after us as well, and going on from there. So hats off to Golf Australia and what they're doing to try and kick-start junior golf in Australia again.
Okay, Nicole. Oh, sorry, I beg your pardon. No?
Just had a couple of really solid weeks in Asia. It must feel like the game is close.
Yes.
What specific part of it is going to trigger you into the form that you want?
My driving. Yeah, my driving has always, it's like this year. And it was only solely because of my putting was off. So usually I have I gain a lot of confidence from my putting, and it's a double-edged sword, because when I'm not putting that great, then you lose a little bit of confidence and the ability to hold putts, or when you're out of position, getting up and down. So I didn't putt that great this year. Put a lot of pressure on my driving to hit the fairways, and once again I was probably thinking about it the whole wrong way, instead of just like letting things happen. I kind of tensed up over the ball a little bit and kind of got to go going both ways. But since kind of President's Cup, taking a little bit of pressure off pretty much every part of my game, and I'm able to give myself a lot more opportunities out there. So, fingers crossed I can keep driving the ball better this week and try and get myself into contention.
Nicole, last questions, please.
Jason, you talked a little bit earlier about life balance. Jeff Ogilvy spoke yesterday about you and sort of the kind of knife edge that you work on in terms of you being physically fit or hurt.
Yes.
And then you like to really work hard and get confidence out of that.
Yes.
How do you find that balance between? Are you finding it better now than you were when you were younger?
The physical part, I'm a lot happier because I'm eating more junk food, which is great. When I'm terrible, when I'm trying to be healthy, and I was really fit at the start of the year, so I was 20 pounds lighter at the start of the year to now. I was 176 pounds, and I'm like 196 pounds now. I don't know what that is in kilos. So sorry, but yeah, during that stage, I was eating very healthy, very clean, doing everything that I possibly could. And unfortunately, I think I was doing the wrong things in the gym, and that's kind of the fine line between actually doing the right things that can benefit your golf, and then doing the wrong things that can hurt your golf as well. And I was teetering on that edge, and unfortunately, I got a little bit too big in the upper body, and I restricted my turn, and under the 3D testing, 3D bio testing that I usually do, there was some differences in my swings this year compared to the previous years. What we do as professional golfers that impacts results in the future all happens what we do now. Talking to Jordan Spieth last night, he goes, "Yeah, hey man, I've been doing a bunch of blood tests, been doing DEXA scans, been seeing a nutritionist, seeing all this." So he said he lost too much weight this year, and he's trying to make sure that he's doing the right things to either maintain a weight and making sure that he's eating correctly and hydrating properly. And when I was a kid, we didn't care about it. We wanted to go out and have fun and play, which is great. When you get to an elite level professional status, you're trying to get that next little thing that could possibly give you the advantage over the next person. And for me, I've kind of turned in from a fattish kid that I was, and chubby baby fat, to kind of like a harder person. And I think Jordan's on the right step as well. We all have to act professional accordingly and try and do the best job we can to get the next advantage. And that's what we're always trying to do, trying to slowly improve each and every year. And sometimes, this year I tried something different with my chipping. And I tried to look at the hole and chip instead of hit it on my landing spot. And this year, it didn't help my chipping at all. It actually hurt my chipping. So trying to find new and different ways of improving can actually sometimes hurt, instead of just going, okay, this is what I've done great in the past, this is what I'm going to focus on doing great, and just keep going with it. So, but it's part about learning. That's just life in general. You do things, you make a mistake, you learn, you get better for the next time. So that's kind of the same analogy in golf.
Well, thank you for coming in. If you'd all hold your seats a moment while we leave.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I walk away with my solo.
Thank you, mate. Cheers.